Hello, Nanners here, and today we're going to talk a little bit about knife safety, both in the kitchen and also at the campsite. So first things first, we're going to talk about several different types of knives. Please note that the knives that we're talking about, you may not have in your campsite collection, you may not have all of these knives, and these are things that you can start with just what you've got and add to as you can, as you've got the available funds to do so. So just use your resources whenever you're at the campsite, and then I'll show you a little bit about several different types. So this first one is a bread knife, and you can see it's got the serrated edge underneath, and that will help you to not squish your bread whenever you're slicing it, okay? This second knife is a chef knife. You can see the shape of it on the bottom. This one is really great for chopping. You can chop vegetables, chop meat, any type of chopping that you need to do would be great for that knife or with that knife. This knife is a Santoku knife. This is my personal favorite knife and the knife that I use all the time. This one is great for slicing, dicing, chopping of many different types of things. And this last knife that we're going to talk about is a paring knife. So this one is really great for small dicing vegetables, and you can use it for other things as well. And then I also wanted to throw in my biggest favorite kitchen tool that I have is actually just a pair of kitchen scissors. So these are really nice. They can actually, they're really super inexpensive. You can get this particular pair at the Dollar Tree. I go often and get just a handful of them, and it's nice because as soon as they dull, or if you lose them, it's not the end of the world. You can toss them and go buy more. So I would definitely grab a few of these to use at your campsite as well. So next we're going to talk a little bit about chopping. And before we get going, I do want to mention that before I started doing any of this, what I did was I went ahead and pulled my hair back. For here at home, it's obviously because I don't want any hair to get in the food, but also at your campsite, you want to be mindful, in addition to not getting hair in food, also being around the fire, you want to make sure that that hair is pulled back. Additionally, I do want to mention that I have already washed my hands with soap and water, and I have already washed my onion after I washed my hands, okay? One of my favorite kitchen hacks that I do want to mention that you can use at the campsite as well is to get a wet paper towel, just a moist paper towel, and put it down on whatever surface you're using, if you're using a cutting board, and throw that cutting board over on top of it. And what it will do is to help you, it'll keep it from sliding around, so it'll help that cutting board be more stable and more safe for you while you're chopping, okay? So now we're going to talk about how to properly chop vegetables, or in this instance, we're going to be chopping an onion. So how you're going to properly hold the knife is you want to wrap your entire hands all the way around that knife, okay? So your thumb is going to be straight out on this side, and then you also want to make sure that your forefinger is not straight. You want that forefinger wrapped around as well, okay? And with your other hand, it's going to be really important that you use it like a claw. So you don't want to be chopping with your hand flat like this, because there's a big risk of you potentially getting cut. Okay, so if you're slicing something with a rounded edge, whenever you get close to that hand, it's just going to slide down next to your fingers instead of actually slicing your fingers, so it makes it a lot more safe. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and start chopping. So with that clawed hand, you're going to go ahead and start chopping, and one thing that I will note on this is you want to rock that knife. So you're going to rock it rather than slicing like this. It's a lot easier to do it rocking. So with a curved hand, you're going to just rock it back and forth. You can see that's easier than trying to slice it like that, okay? And then I'll show you on this side, whenever I'm slicing the other side, how you leave your hand in the claw shape. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're keeping that claw to keep your fingers nice and safe. Okay, and with that, we've discussed a little bit about the different types of knives and then how to properly chop some vegetables. So thank you for watching this video, and happy chopping!